there is a mechanism that many people who are neurodivergent often use to manage or cope with challenges they face on daily basis. This mechanism is masking. Now, masking is a mental process with behavioral component. People use to camouflage or cover up some symptoms that they have. And the reason why they try to cover this up is so that they will appear as neurotypical as possible. They use so much energy to do that. You can imagine somebody who is at school 8 hours or at work 8 hours, some people 10 hours, some 12 hours, masking, trying to hold on themselves so that they don't sleep up for those 12 hours, 5 days a week, or 6 or 7 days a week. Now, this masking, the problem is the amount of energy they use to maintain this mask. Just think about it, wearing a mask, holding a mask in front of you for this number of hours. By the time they finish the shift or finish school, they're home, they are so exhausted. So exhausted. For children and young adults, they start acting up because the brain is all over the place. They don't know how to manage themselves. They're so dysregulated. For adults, many of them will be like, I don't want to listen to nobody. I'm flattened out. I want to go to sleep. I want to sleep to recoup myself. Now, that's the amount of energy they spend in wearing this mask. In the process or in throughout the day, there's so much anxiety they are feeling because they're worried they're going to drop the mask and then people will see. So they're worried all the time, checking on themselves, making sure they are still keeping it going. And then a long-term effect is some of them get confused about their sense of self. Some of my patients have said, I don't even know who I am anymore. I have done this for so long that I don't even know the real me anymore. So masking, they use it to be as close to neurotypical as possible at a huge cost. Now, you may ask, why would they do that? Why would somebody do that even knowing, all these things? The very first thing is a lot of time they want to prove nothing is wrong with them. The diagnosis sometimes people fight the diagnosis. Some will be in weeks, others months, some couple of years. They do not want to accept the diagnosis. They want to prove that there's nothing wrong with them because they don't want to be singled out. They want to just be like anyone else. So they put on this mask to prove that they're just like anyone else. And then the second part, reason why somebody can do that is seeking acceptance. They desire to fit in. They desire to make friends. So if I'm not as other people, people are not likely to make friends with me. I'm not likely to fit into the group. So I try to copy what the group are doing so that I can be part of the group. That is another reason, seeking acceptance, external validation, seeking acceptance. Then the third one is they try to avoid negative impact because even though mental health is gaining momentum and in awareness, we still have a long way to go in accepting mental health as it is what it is. So these people fear rejection and isolation, so they put on the mask. They don't want to be stigmatized. A mistake a neurotypical person will make and it will pass. A neurodivergent person makes it, people will be like, or a divergent person makes a mistake. Rather than say, okay, we can see the effort. No, they want to be judged on the same platform as a neurotypical. They are scared of being judged. And then the fourth is overcompensation. In themselves, they know pretty well. It depends. We have different executive functions. For neurodivergent person, some of these executive functions, like planning, organization, self-control, and things like that, some people are struggling in those areas of executive function, so they try to overcompensate on that. Say, for example, trying to cover up for poor time management. They're unable to manage time. They were so hyper focused on one thing. Meanwhile, they have 4, 5, 6, 8 tasks to do in a day. And then by the time they look at it, it's too late. They're trying to overcompensate by working extra hard, working extra time, by doing all those things to be noticed. Another part of it, overcompensation, is the inconsistency that go along with ADHD for example. So this inconsistency puts this pressure on them to prove that they're reliable and they're competent. At the baseline then of masking is this idea of shame. I'm ashamed of the diagnosis given to me. I don't want to accept it. 2, I don't want to be rejected. So the rejection sensitivity is one of the reasons why they wear the mask. Now, the rejection sensitivity is an interesting one because the brain is so hyper sensitive that they can read the room, they can read the facial expressions, which if it is flipped around, can be an advantage for them. But as it is at the moment, in its raw form, is a disadvantage for them because they go inward. They feel rejected. You pulled your face, it's because of me. You did this, it's because of me. So it's focused on self. And then the last of it is the fear of underperforming or fear of failing. Because they are very much aware that the executive function sometimes might not be up to speed, there's this constant fear. I'm not going to be up to speed with it. I'm not going to perform as expected. Then it means I've failed. All these things are the reasons why people wear masks. If you look at all of them, even the neurotypical have got at different times, somebody that is neurotypical also have felt that. The difference is for neurodivergent, this is a daily challenge, hours on end challenge. So the amount of energy spent in trying to manage that is so much that they don't have any other energy left for the other areas of their lives. In my next video, I'll talk about how do we help to unmask. I'm Dr. Obi. I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.